Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I am Sarah Martin with The Contoured Chemist. I thought it would be fun to do a little reflection. What I would consider my top 10 skincare mistakes I've made along my journey. And not only just mistakes, but I'd say what I've learned and evolved, my evolution, kind of what I used to do and what I'm using now, as obviously my skin has changed and I am 8 years older. So if you want to check it out, please keep watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and thanks for being here. Okay, friends, some of you have been here a long time. So you might see some of these and be like, what do you mean, Sarah? You don't do that anymore? And some of you guys might have noticed I've changed things up, right? I have been on my personal skincare journey for 8 years, from not using any skincare, like not washing my face, to skincare obsessed, learning all the things, and it is my favorite thing to educate on. I'm not gonna say that anything I used to do was bad. I take that back. Some of the things I did was bad, but I will be honest, I'll try anything when it comes to skincare. I'll try it once. I'll try ingredients. I will try devices. I will try techniques and see if it works. Now, what works for my skin now might not work for you. What used to work for me might be right where you're at right now. I am 8 years older. My skin has changed so much. It's a lot more sensitive. Issues back then are, some of them I've kind of gotten rid of as an issue, and I've gotten new ones. So I'll explain as I go. Let's start with number 1, shaving my face. This is not a mistake. It is one of the best things I've ever done for my skin, and I don't regret it. So if you've been on the fence, I promise the benefits are countless. Everything from removing that peach fuzz so your makeup sits better, dirt and oil doesn't sit on your skin as long, you have less breakouts, your skincare can penetrate deeper. It is an exfoliation. I could go on and on and on. So I love it, but my skin has changed. So I have videos on here showing probably every step of the process. And so if you've seen some of my older videos using some of these other products, I'm not saying it's bad, but my skin has changed. And so my technique has also changed. First things first, the Tinkle razor, which it's cheap. You get it on Amazon. It's disposable. It was originally designed for eyebrows. I used this for years. Nothing wrong with it, but then different things came out specifically for women shaving their face. So this is like at-home dermaplaning. I just saw that this company completely redesigned their entire line, and I have not tried it yet, but I went to the Jill razor, which was made for women, and I will be honest, I loved this tiny blade. If you can compare the large size blade to the small one, I have videos on here showing how I use it. I use it in the exact same way, but there's something about the shape of this flat blade versus the angle of this one. I scratched myself a lot with this large blade. So it's not bad per se, still using the technique, but I mainly only liked the small razor, and I think it has to do with the angle for my face specifically, especially in this region. I would like cut my face. If you have sensitive skin, they have like an oil wipe you can use with it. Now you'll see all these hair identifier sprays. I find them gimmicky and pointless, but that's just my personal opinion. I like to dry shave to exfoliate, but as my skin has changed, there has been times I've used these razors and my barrier gets inflamed. My skin is sensitive 4 weeks to where I put on my next skincare product, it burns. So this almost took too much skin off my face. So if you've had that issue, I have now switched to the Michael Todd Sonic Smooth. Very similar. For some reason, even though this one is also straight, this one does not cut me. It also has different levels of vibration and has this light because I'm also getting blind, and it kind of like lights up the hairs to where I feel like I can see what I'm doing. And for some reason, this does not take off too much dead skin to where my skin does not get sensitive after. So still dermaplaning, but I've moved on and elevated from the tinkle to the gel. And now I am obsessed with the Sonic Smooth. I find it faster, simpler. And so I'm a convert. I'm curious if you guys have been shaving your face for a long time. Have you changed it? Or have you tried one that is your favorite that I haven't tried yet? Let me know down in the comments. My next evolution, you've heard me harp on so many times. I did an entire video called the ABCs of skincare. And I'll be honest, when you are starting with a skincare routine for the first time and you have nothing and you ask me what I need to incorporate, I most likely will tell you to start with one of these. But I'm gonna explain why I have moved on. So it started with vitamin C. I have so many favorites and recommendations and ones I've tried over the years, but I've also explained to you guys that pure vitamin C, when you see it say ascorbic acid, actually L-ascorbic acid, that is the technical term for a pure vitamin C, it can cause some issues. Irritation, mostly stability. There are a lot of issues with it going bad and turning, oh yeah, mine is already, if it turns orange like this, that means it's no longer as potent as when it was originally almost colorless. Now, formulations have come a long way in 8 years when I started, and there are some really stable pure vitamin C's out there. Some are even encapsulated so they have less irritation. But I started with vitamin C. I loved it. It is an amazing antioxidant. So I mainly recommend using this in the morning because it makes your sunscreen work better. But again, I've said before, there are a lot of antioxidant options out there. You don't necessarily need vitamin C, although it is the most studied, and it's also shown to have anti-aging benefits like increasing collagen production. So I have always kept it somewhere in my routine, but I used to preach from the mountaintops, you want to find pure because it is the strongest and it works the best. In truth, yes, it will work faster, but not everyone can tolerate vitamin C. And so as my skin has changed, so has my ideas on vitamin C's. And now I use a derivative. Now, don't get me wrong, it is very confusing in my opinion in the skincare space because a lot of these just say vitamin C on the bottle. It does not always designate what type of vitamin C. So understand there are quite a few derivatives. They all show different properties. They all are not identical and don't all give the exact same benefits as ascorbic acid. But what that means is it will go in the skin and it will convert to ascorbic acid. Knowing that it has to do a one-step conversion pretty much will mean that it's not going to be as potent, which means it's as quickly, but that also means it's better for sensitive skin. So as my skin has gotten more and more sensitive, I found myself not being able to reach for pure ascorbic acid. If you've tried it and it kind of burns your face, it's maybe time to try a derivative instead. And so I have made the move to a derivative. This one is my daily go-to. This is the Damn Citrus Glow. I can't even remember off the top of my head which derivative is in this, and it is in Japanese. So I will link everything I talk about down below. I have an entire Shop My category showing all of my favorite vitamin C's. And if you need to know which one would be best for you and what you're looking for, just shoot me a message and I can make a recommendation. I will be honest, I also don't necessarily use this every day anymore. And that is because I have moved on to my biggest skincare concern, which is dark spots. Now, you might say, Sarah, vitamin C is supposed to be great for dark spots. And that is true, that it can help in melanin formation and it can kind of stop that pathway. But what a lot of people don't understand is that that pathway is very complex. I will put a picture up here. I have a lot of experience in the dark spot category, and I will say a vitamin C is never, in my opinion, enough to see a difference. At least it has never been for my skin. After using it daily for 8 years, I can tell you, it's never shown me a visible result of my dark spots like this has. So this is Mother Seint's Molecular Hero Serum. It has a patented ingredient called malisazen, and it is designed for dark spots and hitting that pathway in multiple spots. So it's not just going to mess it up in one spot to where it could still form melanin. Dark spots are a beast, and it will take treatment every day forever. And I know that sounds really sad and daunting, but it's one of those things that like you can't laser them off and think, oh, I'm good, my dark spots are going to come back, when they're reproducing that melanin, those dark spots in your skin every single day. So it's something that will need a multifaceted approach, and it needs a serum that will tackle it on many fronts. And so this is my go-to now. There are many days I don't necessarily use this because, to be honest, I now use vitamin C for help with collagen production, not dark spots whatsoever. This is my dark spot hero, and this is also an antioxidant. Not to mention, this has also shown great clinicals as far as anti-aging, fine lines. And so I do think that this is a replacement for this 100% based on the data I've seen. And so now my main serum in the mornings will always be Mother Seint's, and I will make sure that I at least have one of their 3 products in my routine somewhere in the day, so I have that malisazen ingredient so that I'm constantly tackling my dark spots. That will forever be my main concern. If dark spots aren't your concern and you're using vitamin C for that beautiful glow and antioxidant, sun protection, collagen production, all the things, if you have sensitive skin, try a derivative. So many great options for derivative serums nowadays. And there are also a lot of great options for encapsulated pure vitamin C serums as well. Depends on your skin, depends on what you're looking for. And mine, this is very sensitive skin friendly and never irritates my skin. And so she's the winner. Let's get into a little bit of tools, devices, if you will. I will be honest, I've tried a lot over the years. Let's start with one that I think everybody has probably used in their life at some point. And I will be honest, I don't own any. So I'm gonna put a picture right there, and we're talking pore strips. There was a point in my life where I would do these weekly, and then I learned a lot about pores. And I do feel like pores are one of the main issues of misinformation on the internet, because the number of times I've heard about shrinking, closing, pores are like doors. No, I'm here to tell you pores are not. Pores don't close at all, ever. Now they can expand, okay? And that happens when your pores get kind of congested with, sebum, dirt, oil, whatever it might be. That's what causes blackheads and things that people think are blackheads on our nose. So they can stretch, and because they are made of elastin, which is the stretchy part of our skin that will kind of bounce back, as you get older, your pores kind of are like the rest of your skin and can start to sag a little bit. So that might make your pores look larger than they used to be. And it might be from trauma or a lot of congestion to the pore over time. But you can't use steam to open them. You can't use cold water to shrink them or any other shrinking product. All of those that claim to shrink your pores are simply clearing out your pores so that they then appear smaller again. But the size will never change. The only thing that can truly help the size is increasing that collagen and elastin production, keeping them nice and tight and not sagging and making them look larger, okay? But you can aggressively cause them to stretch. And so the first time I truly understood this, I was like, wow, pore strips are bad, okay? And so I know there's kind of mixed information about pore strips out there, but it does create trauma to the skin. If you don't know how to use a pore strip, you put it on damp skin, you let it harden, and then as you rip it off, it's supposed to take all that gunk out of your nose at the same time. And what I have heard from dermatologists that I trust is that it will stretch your pore, and then we all know pores don't shrink back. So once they're stretched to a point, they're gonna look larger. So I gave up pore strips probably 10 years ago, and I won't use another one. What do I do now? There's something about feeling like your pores are decongested that makes you feel so much better. I don't know about you guys, but like, it's mostly after a lot of sunscreen and a lot of sweat outside, pool days, coming out of summer, I needed this. So my pick, there's a couple of different brands, but they more or less all are created to soften that sebum that collects, say, forehead, wherever your pores are the largest. Mine is mostly the nose and the chin. And when I can visibly see sebum in my nose, that's a good sign that you need to use one of these. So these are blackhead melting clear pads. They're pretty much like a nose strip, but they're just going to be laid on your nose and it's gonna soften that. It's on 10, 15 minutes max. And then I take it off and I can use a Q-tip, wipe away anything that's come to the surface, or using something like this xoxo spatula gently. It doesn't vibrate, but you can just simply kind of scrape the surface very gently and you'll be amazed at what comes off. And I am forever a convert. It's gentler on my skin. It's not creating any kind of irritation or damage. I still to this day think that my broken capillaries on my nose are from pore strips. Avoid the trauma, keep it nice and gentle, and don't create extra issues you have to fix down the road. Because you know what? Those can only be fixed with the laser, unfortunately. I made a very early mistake. In fact, I think I did a video on Instagram way back in my journey. I apologize if you bought one. I am shocked I still have this. I thought I threw it away a long time ago. I must have saved it for teaching what not to do, and that is a derma roller. You guys remember these? So if you don't know what this is, these have tiny little bitty needles. It looks like the one I have is 0.25 millimeters. And on clean skin, you're supposed to roll this across your face, and it more or less creates the trauma to the skin, therefore triggering your skin to heal itself by promoting collagen and elastin. Issue with this. Now, you could go get an in-office treatment and get this kind of thing done. Why I don't recommend a derma roller like this is because this needs to be very sterile. Yeah, it comes in like a dust-proof case, but it needs to be cleaned every time. And that isn't even the hardest part. The hardest part is that this is determined by pressure, how deep these needles. Yes, you can only go so far, but it can really do some damage, right? Like you are puncturing your skin many, many, many times as you roll this cross. So I recommend putting the derma roller away and using, I apologize, this box is so, can you tell it's stored right next to where my self-tanning mitt goes? I apologize. I recommend the Cure system. This is a micro infusion system that's designed to, you put a certain kind of serum and it comes with this amazing tip that is designed to only one-time use, so it's always clean, and you just simply press it on the skin. I have a whole video I can link down below showing how to use it, but you press it on the skin, does the same thing. It's designed so it cannot go any farther than that. There are 24 karat gold needles, and it will actually help that serum penetrate into the skin to where it can actually do. It's that instead of this, you would have to do this all over the skin and then put a serum on. This kind of directly has it going into the skin every time you make those punctures. And so they have different serums depending on what you're looking for. Collagen for dark spots, hydration, minimizing pores, that kind of thing. And this one is safe for at-home use. It's designed to be used in the home. I will never again use this, but this I have tried. I saw visible results after one use, and it truly does work. Safe, and it is a lot cheaper than doing it in office. All right, another tool that I have long thrown away, and I'm sure most of you guys had one. I wonder if do they still sell these? We're talking the Clarisonic brush. Now, of facial cleaning brushes on the market, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. If you feel like your hands don't do a good enough job, if you need extra exfoliation while you cleanse, although I personally would prefer an exfoliating cleanser, I understand where some people love those brushes. Those brushes do nothing, in my opinion, but harbor bacteria because those bristles cannot be cleaned. You're constantly having to change out the head. Instead, then I went to a silicone brush. Now, I still use this one in my shower. This is the PMD Pro Body. You can see these silicone bristles are antibacterial. So they're never gonna grow things that then you're gonna put to your face. Now this one is not for the face, this one's for the body. It has different snap-on features. I love this one. I can reach parts of my back that I can't reach otherwise. I use it all the time. I have several of their faces and my daughter stole them. They're in her room. I also have used this one, which is almost identical from Butte, which is also silicone. I love this added little guy right here because it is like the perfect size to clean in these hard to reach places. And then it has the rose quartz that warms on the back so you can put on your serums and it feels like a spa session, right? So I would say put down the Clarisonic if you haven't already and move to a silicone brush if that is your preference and you like the gentle exfoliation this gives from cleansing. To now, as most of you can guess, because when I first started, I don't feel like I was doing this. And I can see why I felt like I needed a little bit of extra help to make sure I'm getting sunscreen and makeup off. And now it's real simple. I keep things, especially exfoliation, to a minimum, and I use products that will just adequately cleanse my face. So I have a lot of different combos I could have talked about, but the point is I now double cleanse. okay? I use a oil or balm, even sometimes a micellar water cleanser. And this one is Dew's Ethereal. This is their new facial cleansing oil. It's incredible. It takes off all sunscreen. This one is good for waterproof makeup or sunscreen. It's incredible. And then I will use a gentle cleanser. So this is their Baptism. This is a gentle foaming facial gel cleanser. I have many gentle cleanser recommendations because that is typically what I'm reaching for. It's the only thing my skin likes. Instead of using a manual brush tool to kind of make sure I get every last bit of sunscreen makeup off, oil-based cleanser, gentle cleanser, and always a Seint microfiber cloth. I can't really use anything else at this point. I feel like normal washcloths are too rough on my sensitive skin, and these aren't too soft like some other ones I've tried. It's enough of a manual exfoliation. At the same time, it really can remove all of the cleansers so that I don't have residual cleanser on my skin breaking me out. They're soft, they wash really well. I use the gray so they don't stain, and I can't live without these. I have so many. So this is my manual part of my cleanse, and it works really well for my sensitive rosacea prone skin. Let's talk another tool that I thought I kept for demonstration purposes, but I went through that closet and I cannot find it anywhere. So I must have got rid of it in the purge. You guys remember this? So also by PMD, love this device. The PMD Pro, the microdermabrasion one, I bought way back in the day because I really wanted my skin to glow, right? And like, you get off that dead skin, yep. I had rosacea, and I don't think I knew yet that I had rosacea. I just thought I was always flush. I think that device helped teach me. It didn't teach me I had rosacea. It taught me physical exfoliation is not my friend, not equal, and there are very varying degrees of physical exfoliants. I'm just gonna put a picture right here, and if you're still using this, please DM me. If you don't know why this is real bad, we need to talk. We didn't know what we didn't know. So we moved on. Everyone was talking about microdermabrasion. I need to try that. I want smooth skin that glows. It smoothed my skin all right, but it's like sandpaper on a drill, and it didn't work great for me. So once I realized my skin hates rough, physical, grainy, anything that feels like sandpaper. In fact, I tried to find something in my skincare stash, and it's like I have thrown away everything the least bit scrubby or gritty. I don't have anything. I think I maybe had a body scrub, which I feel like our body skin very different. Facially, can't do it. I learned how to use acids. And so you guys probably remember I used to live and die on this. And I'm not saying I don't like it. I think it's great. A lot of people cannot use this on their face. Now this is how much my skin has changed because I used to use this on my face at least once a week. I wouldn't say do it. I wouldn't recommend doing it any more than once a week. But this is the Ordinaries. It's a 30% AHA. AHA is the acid that will break the bonds between your dead skin cells and allow them to slough off. It has 2% BHA, which is the oil-soluble acid. That's like salicylic acid that can go into your pore and clean out that congestion, okay? It's a 10-minute exfoliating facial. This is the one that's like, I don't know if I have any left. No, you might be able to tell. It's like bright red. You put it all over your face. It burns. Like the first time you have to use it, I say do it like 3 minutes. She's strong. She's real strong. I used to use this once a week to reset my skin. And I wondered why I was so red all the time. So I have moved on. I still love acids, don't get me wrong. I think there is a place. You just have to learn what your skin needs and can tolerate based on what you're looking for, and it is the best way to get a glow. I still have acid peels. I would say I would recommend, instead of this one, I would recommend the Dr. Idris, the Major Fade Flash Mask. It's not as high as a percentage, and I feel like I can use this, again, I don't use it very long, 3 to 5 minutes. I wanna say they say 10 to 15. I am a little sensitive to acids. In fact, every time I tested a new acid this summer was when my eczema flared up. So I'm learning. I'm still learning from my own mistakes. Most of you will know. What do I do now? The number of times I've bought this, I've lost count. I think Amazon has lost count by this point, but I will link the exact one I buy from Amazon every time because there are so many fake ones on Amazon. But this is Pure Natural Aqua Gel. It is a peeling gel. So if you've ever heard of a gommage, when you use it, it will ball up. It is not all dead skin. It is the product, but it will ball up your dead skin inside of those little pieces. And the actual balls, as you rub it on your face on very dry skin, I can't stress that enough. If your hands have been wet in any way, if your face is damp, it will not work. But I have heard people say that doesn't work. I challenge you to use it properly and you tell me your face doesn't feel different. I use this every 2 to 3 days like clockwork. And technically, this is a physical exfoliant because those little balls are what is gently removing dead skin off your face. So it's the only physical exfoliant I will use on my face. But I only use this in conjunction with my acids. But my thing is now I have to use very gentle acids. Glycolic isn't great for me. Even lactic sometimes messes with my skin. So we're going weak, gentle. You guys know my girl. If you're looking for a weekly to 1 to 2 times a week, my holy grail now, ever since I've used this, it's one of the only things that will not irritate my skin and that I can use this the night before. Then I will use this the next day and it removes all that dead skin. The great thing about this, since this is Sophie, sorry, I should tell you what it is. It's Sophie Pavitt Face. This is the Mandelic Clearing Serum. Now she's known as like the acne whisperer. So it's really meant for acne prone skin, which is why it took me so long to try it. I don't have acne prone skin. But the cool thing about Mandelic is it kind of works like an AHA and BHA, and it can go into your pores and help clean them out. So it's one of the very few acids where I'm like, why is this not in more things? Like, you don't see a lot with Mandelic, and I love her. I think I need more. I personally use it once a week. When I like to use a daily toner, I will go for toner and I will go for a PHA. So just look for these type of ingredients. If you have more sensitive skin like I do, say you've tried glycolic and it was too strong for you, there are so many other options. Lactic is weaker and great for mature, drier skin. I love a daily toner that will just slowly keep the glow. And so this is Medic 8. This is the Press and Glow. And I know they have more than one because I know they have a BHA one as well. But this is their PHA toner. So a daily exfoliating PHA tonic. I believe this is gluconolactone, and that is a cool ingredient because it works as a PHA, which is a weaker version of AHAs. Instead of alpha hydroxy acids, it's a polyhydroxy acid, meaning it's not as strong. But the cool thing is that it also is a hydrating ingredient. So I think this is perfect for mature skin. We get drier as we get older. We don't have as fast skin cell turnover. We almost need something daily to kind of keep our skin looking alive. I would say if you don't want to worry about doing a treatment once a week, do this daily, these are the type of things I will only use now. So I don't really do strong glycolic heavy acid like mask treatments. I typically will use this daily, this once a week, cure every couple of days. That is what keeps my skin glowing. Acids, I truly feel like are the only magic sauce to keeping your skin looking really radiant and healthy. Okay, we have one more device. I actually found one more device. So let's make this quick. The NuFace. I'm not saying I don't recommend her. A NuFace, if you've seen, I did an entire video on skincare devices. I still recommend this. If you're looking for a lift, microcurrent does work. It's subtle, you have to use it daily, but it's still, as soon as you stop using it, the bad part is you're gonna lose the effects. And so you can use this and contour out your face and get a lift, especially if you're, feel like your face is starting to fall over time. I understand. I don't use my NuFace anymore. I have kind of set her aside and I am fully converted to the Zip instead. And the reason why is this also uses microcurrent, but it also uses nanocurrent. So microcurrent is just a temporary effect and then it goes away. But nanocurrent can actually give you results over time and it will compound. So I feel like why do something that's giving temporary results when I can get that instant temporary lift as well as long-term benefits? And so you use it the exact same way. I would recommend the Zip Halo over the NuFace. Last but not least, for devices, again, not bad, just there are some better options. The first one is the Solo Wave, if I can get this out. So the Solo Wave is a light device that vibrates, it turns. You can use this the kind of like for lymphatic drainage and you get that red light therapy at the same time. Not a bad device whatsoever, but without that vibration aspect, is it your best option? For red light, no. Because you're getting such a small amount of red light as you pass it over your face, you would have to use this for such a long period of time to get the same effect as you would from a full red light mask. And if I recommended one device that's really helping with anti-aging, inflammation, like when I have my eczema flare-ups, this is what heals it the fastest, more so than any cream that I could put on it. It's red light. So I would say if you're gonna pick a device, pick one that you would have, this is like 3 minutes, this is 6. There's pros and cons to both of these. This one's better if you also struggle with breakouts and you have like acne, because this you can target, you can do all blue light, or you can even customize this with the app to do blue light in certain areas of your face and red light in the others. This one I feel like does an amazing full red light, but it's not the most comfortable, and there's newer ones on the market. They're a little bit more pricey. So pick what might work better for you, but I would say just the time alone, I can get really fast results from 3 minutes on this versus something like this. Red light is still my favorite device ever. If I had to pick one, I would pick red light therapy. It's super easy. Just put on your mask while you're making your morning coffee and you are done. Just remember, clean skin, no skincare on your face. Affect the light penetration. Let's go back to some skincare products. I was actually asked this the other day, and it's one of those things that I feel like even I fell into the trap of until I really looked at the studies, and that is stronger equals better when it comes to retinoids. Now, everyone always talks about the gold standard. The gold standard is tretinoin. Okay, you start at 0.025 and you work your way up. When in actuality, you don't necessarily even have to work your way up. And I feel like in the skincare community, people are always talking about moving up and getting to Tret and whatever is most viral. I was asked about this one the other day. This one is so much weaker than this, it's not even funny. Like, I would refuse to even use this because it would do nothing. Unless I was using it on maybe like a very sensitive area I've never used a retinoid on before. This A313, I guess, is viral again. It is retinol palmitate. Very, very, put on the chart. I believe it's on my chart. Very weak. Just because something is viral does not mean it's better than what you're using. And just because you're using something weaker doesn't mean you need to work your way around the hard way. Tret is probably not for me. My skin is so sensitive. It's not great for people with rosacea. If you can tolerate it. But I have no desire to get to this point right now. I love my retinol. Studies have shown a lower dose, lower, weaker form of retinoid consistently, meaning you can use this 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days a week. In the long-term results, will give you way better results than using something stronger once a week, twice a week. If you can be consistent with something weaker, it's far better than using something stronger less often. They've shown the same thing as that also. Once you get to tretinoin, anything higher really doesn't give you any better results as far as anti-aging goes than going up to those stronger forms. And so I wouldn't recommend it. My goal is still maybe to slowly work my way up to a stronger retinol, but life happens. I've had a lot of skin issues this year to where I have to take a break from it and get my barrier in check, and that's okay. Guess what? It's not a race, right? Because somebody's using Tret doesn't mean they're gonna have amazing, incredible, better results because than I am and I'm using retinol, okay? Everybody's skin is different. Everyone can tolerate different things, and some people will never be able to use Tret, and that's okay. Lesson I had to learn for myself. So don't hurt your face trying to get to being able to use Tret once a week. If you can use something weaker like retinol that is less irritating daily, you are good. Just stick with that. The next couple are just words of wisdom. The first one comes from a customer question I had this past week. Something that I technically didn't have to learn the hard way, but I see a lot of people that still don't understand these things. So my first thing is, and I've said this time and time again, medical grade skincare is a term. It is a made up term, unfortunately. Like, I was gifted this. Not a bad product. In fact, it's a great product, but I believe this is sold as and marketed as medical grade, and it is the Hydrinity Accelerated Skin Science Purifying Mist. Okay, I believe it retails for over $60. It's a hypochlorous acid spray, and the ingredients are no different than the most affordable one. In fact, there's some on Amazon that are even cheaper than this one for less than $20 from Prequel. So the question is, how can they call themselves medical grade? It's just a label they gave themselves. There's no regulation. They can have the same ingredients. They can even be made in the same lab. And the only reason they have that on maybe their marketing is so that they can afford a larger price tag. And a lot of these companies, now I'm not gonna say all, because some do have a lot of amazing research associated with some of their skincare. Not all, but some do. For the most part, I find them to just cost more. Goes hand in hand with the word clean, and also natural. I'm sure if you guys are watching this, hopefully you know by now that clean is also unregulated, doesn't mean anything, and anyone, literally any brand, can put the name clean on their label. I would never recommend choosing a product based on that marketing tactic. In a world of social media, it's gotten really out of hand. The people trying to sell non-toxic skincare. There's no such thing as toxic skincare, and people who are selling you their alternatives don't understand the definition of toxicity, because that's not how it works. The other thing is natural ingredients. I feel like I'm seeing more and more. I had someone tell me the other day they didn't realize until I told them natural doesn't mean it's safer or better. I guess it's just something I knew because I know that some of the most toxic, meaning a very small amount, can poison you or hurt you. Some of those toxic things are from nature. And so nature doesn't mean better. Nature doesn't mean safer. Your body can distinguish the difference between if this had a natural chemical compound versus this one had a synthetic. Your body wouldn't know the difference whether it's made in a lab. And truth be told, things that are made synthetically can be produced without hurting the environment. They are much more pure to avoid contaminants or allergens, but it falls into this umbrella of nature fallacy, meaning you think natural ingredients are somehow better for you than synthetic. When if you look at actual research, those type of natural ingredients like essential oils are actually proven to have a higher allergic reaction rate than synthetic ones, because they can control that. They can make sure that there isn't going to be a reaction that takes place, whereas essential oils aren't always the purest form. And so there's a lot of misinformation, and I believe it comes from just the nature of clean eating and everyone wanting to be healthy. And I get it. There are actually much more strict regulations in place than people realize when it comes to products that are made by brands, whether it's makeup or skincare. No company is trying to poison anyone. That would be a really bad business strategy. I would be much more terrified to buy the all-natural beef tallow sunscreen that was made in Susie's kitchen that she's selling off TikTok. And I don't understand why more people believe a reel going viral than scientific fact that has been proven by many, many years of research and studies. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I am not gonna call out a brand, but I can tell you I've been gifted by one of those natural focused ingredient brands. And I believe that is what started my entire eczema journey, because my skin had an allergic reaction. I can smell a product now and immediately tell if it has too many essential oils. I will not let it touch my skin. That is more dangerous to my sensitive skin than something that I know developed to be the least irritating, even if it's 100% synthetic. That, to me, I trust more because I know it's backed by science. My last thing, don't expect immediate results. I think this is what drove me to a lot of the damage I did to my skin early on, was because I was looking for that instant glow, instant result, trying one product and going to the next instead of using it for a long enough time that I can see results. Understand that what you see on social media is not always accurate. I've seen from experience there's a lot of lighting tricks and untrue statements to sell products, whereas the only thing that can give you quick, instantaneous results, acids, okay? We'll take off that dead skin. Hydrating ingredients will plump up fine lines, add that instant moisture. Hydration, acids to remove dead skins. The only thing that will be almost instantaneous. I'd say my third one would be caffeine. Caffeine can help depuff rather quickly. Those are all also temporary because our skin cell turnover slows down. You're gonna need to use the acid again. Your skin's gonna dry out. You're gonna have to keep applying a moisturizer. Caffeine wears off in 8 hours. So anything else is gonna be a long-term cumulative effect of you using that product day in and day out over time in order to see it slowly give you results. And then all that other stuff you're using to see that instantaneous glow factor. That's okay. But just know, most skincare is long game. Expect it to be immediate. Use it long enough in order to see if it's really working. And I'd recommend a month to 2 with most products for really strong actives like your retinoids. Last but not least, do not wait until you've damaged your barrier to then use barrier products. No one product will heal your barrier. I know barrier repair is very trending right now, but similar issues to me, where you think you have eczema or you get red and flaky around your mouth, you most likely need to, hard truth, stop all actives. Go to the bare necessities of a gentle cleanser and a great moisturizer, and go to a dermatologist and make sure it's not something like perioral dermatitis. Those things can be triggered in so many ways. It is going to be really difficult for you to diagnose yourself and to heal it on your own, because a barrier cream is not going to get rid of it. I have learned the hard way. There are no quick fixes and easy solutions when your skin actually needs real help. On that note, that doesn't mean you don't need a barrier cream. In my opinion, a barrier cream should be a really good daily moisturizer, whether you just need one at night or in the morning and at night. But I'm talking loaded with ceramides and things to replenish your barrier every single day so that it makes it stronger, healthier, and you're not going to damage it as well. So instead of just waiting until your barrier is inflamed and sensitive, use it daily. These are my favorite. I have a lot, and these are all great for different reasons, different price points. First, we have the AM/PM Modern Moisturizer. This is from Prequel. I haven't even talked about this one. It's one of their newest launches. This is great, loaded in ceramides, great for both morning and night. Great texture, very unique. Love the dry down, it's fantastic. Experiments Molecular Mesh is, again, meant to be a barrier strengthening moisturizer. Over time, keeps it healthy. I love the texture of this one. You've heard me talk about this one time and time again. It's now at Sephora. Astura Ado Barrier 365, one of my favorite just daily, nightly moisturizers, Korean favorite. Remedy came out with one, and I really love this formula. Again, this is a barrier repairing, rich cream moisturizer. So if you're looking, this one is normal to dry skin. So this one is definitely for me and great for nighttime. And then probably my all-time favorite is Dew Instant Angel. I believe the just formulation proportions of this have not been beaten. A really amazing cosmetic chemist who just has the perfect distribution of ingredients. This one, I feel like I can use it every day, but it also is very healing. I can't think of a better description of barrier repair as this. It's their lipid rich moisturizer, and it's fantastic. So that would be my 5 favorites. I feel like I'm adding favorites to my collection every day. So they're my top 10 skincare mistakes, or evolution, if you will. Things that I used to do, I can no longer do. Obviously, my skin has changed. I'm curious if you guys used to do any of the stuff I talked about, and if you've changed it, or if that is still working for you. I know I'm probably not like most. I'm always testing new products, and so I'm a little bit more skincare obsessed than the average person. So I'm curious if you guys have switched up as many things as me over the years. I did start late in my skincare journey, so I'm sure I could think of more than 10, but that was my top 10. Let me know if you agree with any down below, or if you need help with any part of your skincare routine. As always, anything I talked about will be linked down in the description box under the video. And thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next week. Love you.